Alright, let's dive into something that's been bubbling up in the news lately, and trust me, it's a lot more complex than the headlines make it seem. So, President Trump recently hinted that a deal regarding the Strait of Hormuz could be announced as early as today or tomorrow. Now, on the surface, this might sound like just another diplomatic update, but personally, I think this is a massive deal, and not just for the Middle East. What makes this really interesting is the context. We're talking about a critical choke point for global oil supply, and the negotiations involve Iran, Oman, and indirectly, the US. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about reopening a waterway, it's about geopolitical leverage, economic stability, and the future of the region. Here's the thing. The Strait of Hormuz has been a flashpoint since the US and Israel attacked Iran back in February. Since then, it's been closed, causing massive disruptions to global trade. Now, Iran and Oman are reportedly close to a deal that would allow ships to transit the strait again. But here's where it gets tricky. The proposal includes Iran controlling the inbound route and Oman managing the outbound one. From my perspective, this is a huge concession, especially since the US has been adamant about not letting Iran gain control over this strategic waterway. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just about who's in charge, it's about who gets to set the rules for one of the most important trade routes in the world. One detail I find fascinating is the debate over service fees. Initially, there were reports that Iran and Oman might charge tolls for ships passing through. Trump was quick to shut that down, saying, "I'm not going to let them charge." But here's the kicker. The latest proposal reportedly excludes tolls, which raises a deeper question. What's Iran getting out of this deal if not financial gain? In my opinion, this suggests that Iran might be prioritizing diplomatic victories over immediate economic benefits. What this really suggests is that Tehran is playing the long game, trying to reassert its influence in the region after months of conflict. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The US's dwindling stockpile of long-range missiles. According to reports, the US has used nearly all of its ATACMS and precision strike missiles in the war with Iran. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has downplayed this, calling it a manufactured story, but personally, I think this is a massive red flag. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about running low on weapons, it's about the sustainability of the US's military strategy. What many people don't realize is that these missiles aren't just tools of war, they're symbols of American power. If the US is burning through them at this rate, it raises questions about its ability to project force globally. Meanwhile, the humanitarian situation in Iran is worsening. The UN rights chief, Volker Turk, recently expressed alarm over the surge in executions since March, with at least 56 people executed on national security charges. What makes this really interesting is the timing. These executions coincide with the anti-government protests earlier this year. In my opinion, this isn't just about law and order, it's about Tehran sending a message to its own people and the world. What this really suggests is that Iran is using fear to suppress dissent while trying to negotiate its way out of the war. And then there's the Houthi attacks in the Red Sea. Yemen's Iran-backed rebels have been targeting Saudi oil tankers, escalating their maritime blockade. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just a local conflict, it's part of a broader strategy to pressure Saudi Arabia and disrupt global oil markets. From my perspective, this is Iran flexing its proxy power, showing that even while it's negotiating over the Strait of Hormuz, it's still capable of causing chaos elsewhere. So, where does this leave us? Personally, I think the Strait of Hormuz deal is a double-edged sword. On one hand, reopening the strait could ease global oil prices and reduce tensions. On the other hand, it gives Iran a foothold in controlling a vital global resource. What this really suggests is that we're entering a new phase of the conflict, one where diplomacy and power plays are taking center stage. As we wrap up, I'll leave you with this thought. What does it mean when a country like Iran, under immense pressure, starts making deals instead of firing missiles? Is this a sign of weakness, or is it a calculated move to regain leverage? Personally, I think it's the latter, and it's something the world needs to pay attention to. Because in the game of geopolitics, every move, no matter how small, has consequences. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.